Emergency lights flashing in the pre-dawn sky. A convoy of ambulances and a fire truck pull up to the scene of an Israeli attack. Palestinian paramedics and civil defense responders get out of their vehicles when suddenly, amid a hail of gunfire, emergency responders drop to the ground, and the paramedic who is filming begins to pray. It is the single deadliest attack on emergency responders in Gaza during the war, killing 15. The Israeli military had acknowledged its soldiers attacked this convoy of emergency vehicles, but this video debunked their claim that the ambulances were advancing suspiciously and without emergency lights. The Israeli military says it is re-examining the incident. Now, new testimony from a survivor further undermining the Israeli narrative. Paramedic Munther Abed says Israeli troops didn't just open fire on one ambulance convoy. About an hour earlier, his ambulance was also attacked. They opened fire directly on us in the vehicle, Munther says. I survived by lying down in the back of the vehicle. If I had stood up, I would have been killed. He listened as two of his colleagues, Mustafa Khafaja and Ezzedine Shaath, drew their last breaths. Israeli troops then detained Munther. The Israeli military has described that first attack as targeting a Hamas vehicle, killing 2 Hamas members and detaining a third. An Israeli military official said they were not uniformed paramedics. But Munther says they were driving a well-lit ambulance and were wearing their uniforms. As Israeli troops questioned Munther, other medics were dispatched to look for him. The Palestine Red Crescent Society says this is Munther's ambulance, lights extinguished after coming under fire. No comment from the Israeli military. Munther saw the convoy arrive. I was lying face down and a soldier had an M16 rifle pressed against my back, with my face turned toward the street. In the street there were civil defense vehicles, fire trucks and ambulances parked nearby. They opened fire directly on them. There are soldiers, one paramedic says in this recording of his final call. The Israeli military buried the bodies in this shallow grave. They say it was to prevent the bodies from being scavenged. The UN only reached the site a week later. Paramedic Hassan Hosni nearly ended up in that grave, but he called in sick that day, and his son Mohammed took his place. He soon called him one last time. Help me, Dad, help me. I asked him what was wrong, and he said, we were targeted by the Israelis, and they are now shooting at us directly. Then the call disconnected. A week later, his father identified his body. They wouldn't let me wash the dirt from his face. I don't know why. He had a wound on his mouth here, another on his forehead, and another on his back, all from gunfire, his father says. God bless his soul. And the Israeli military's chief of staff was briefed on the results of the preliminary investigation into this attack, and he directed that this inquiry, quote, be pursued in greater depth. We expect that that investigation will be concluded in the coming days, but as that is happening, the Israeli military is also now changing its story about how many terrorists it believes were among the 15 paramedics and rescue workers who were killed. Last week, they said that there were 9 terrorists. Now they are saying that number is actually 6, but they've still provided no evidence to back up that claim. Jeremy Diamond, CNN, Tel Aviv.